Hey everyone, this is Rachel Gamble with Macon-Bibb County Public Affairs. We are getting back started, about to wrap up from the pre-commission meeting and get started with our full commission meeting. If y'all will give us a few minutes, we're going to make sure that this is live on our website, maconbibb.us. If you're viewing this on Facebook, let people who don't have Facebook know they can watch it at maconbibb.us. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes. Thank you for your patience.
$2 time of services on Friday.
Hey everyone, Rachel Gamble here with Public Affairs again, just letting y'all know we are getting the website updated with this live stream. We should be going live in just a couple minutes. Thanks for bearing with us. Oh, mine's not. Maximize your screen and it should fix it. Oh, I think I'm talking. We are checking the audio for our live stream on the website, Macon-Bibb.us. This is Rachel Gamble with Macon-Bibb Public Affairs, testing the audio. I'll do it after we get out of this meeting. Yep. Mr. Mayor, our audio is working. We're good to go and you are.
Very good. Thank you, and let me call to order this regular meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Commission for Tuesday, September the 15th. I'll start with an apology to those. We said we were going to start at a 6 o'clock meeting, and here it is almost 6:45. So if you're just tuning in, we just had an executive session that went a little bit longer than we had anticipated and a full agenda at pre-commission. But here we are officially now called to order for the regular commission meeting. And I can't think of a better way to start than with an invocation. And we've asked Rabbi Schlesinger if he would lead us in an invocation. Rabbi Schlesinger, let me call on you at this point, sir, to give us our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our God and Creator, we come together to attend to the business of this county and its constituents. And we thank you for your many blessings, for life and health, for work and rest, for home and love and friendship. In our world that's so often seems torn by violence and pain, a world that seems far from wholeness, in a world waiting still to be redeemed, we ask that your blessing of peace rest upon the inhabitants of all lands, so that belief in you will continue to spread its many blessings among us, exalting us all in righteousness. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Schlesinger. Next item on our agenda, approval of the minutes of our pre-commission meeting of September the 1st and our regular commission meeting of September the 1st have been prepared and distributed. Are there any changes or corrections that we need to make? If not, can I get a motion? Got a motion by Allen and second by Schlesinger to approve the minutes. All in favor of approval of both sets of minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. Next item on our agenda are reports from our committees. First is Operations and Finance Committee, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Watkins. Chairman Watkins.
Thank you, sir. The Operations and Finance Committee met last on August 25th and took the following action. We approved a supplemental budget appropriations for the Board of Elections in the amount of $259,264 for the 2020 general election. We approved a work authorization with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood for the purpose of hiring Taffy Pippin Consultant in the amount of $7,700 to prepare an updated disadvantaged business enterprise plan for the Macon Downtown Airport. We approved an agreement with the FAA in the amount of $241,188 for the runway rehabilitation project at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport. And we approved a fund balance for the restoration of the Benny A. Scott Memorial Steam Engine in the amount of $50,000. We approved a transfer and parts and beautifications line item in the amount of $40,000 for the rental of street sweepers, and approve 5-year short-term work program and capital improvements elemental budget. And finally, a contract with Warren and Associates in the amount of $509,500 was approved for phase 3 of the Freedom Park renovations payable from the SPLOST fund. This concludes the report of Operations and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Watkins. Next is Economic and Community Development Committee, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Lucas.
Okay, thank you. The members of the Economic and Community Development Committee are Lucas, Schlesinger, Watkins, Bibbins, and Shepherd. The Economic and Community Development Committee met on August 25th, 2020, and we took the following actions. The committee approved the following appointments: Gregory C. Glover to the Arbor Conservation Board, and the committee approved naming the engineering building as the Robert E. Fountain Engineering Building. This concludes the report of our committee.
Thank you, Chairman Lucas. Every day in Middle Georgia is Public Safety Appreciation Day, but I understand that there's no report from the Public Safety Committee at this point.
That is
So
correct, Mr. Mayor. And I always thank you for your comment because I always want to make that.
Well, I will make one additional comment. We had a very successful 9/11 ceremony last Friday. Well attended and always a moving event, stirring event, and I was privileged to be there and attend. So we do thank we remember 9/11 and what happened in New York, but it's also a time we express appreciation for our local public safety officials that help us each and every day. Facilities and Engineering did meet. That report will be given to us by Chairman Jones. Chairman Jones? You got you're still muted. I'm afraid, Chairman Jones.
He did. Okay. All right. We did meet on September the 8th. We approved the following street light installation of 6 street lights in Lake Arrowhead subdivision, installation of 1 street light on Riverdale Road. Same procedure applies. They covered the installation, and then Bibb County covers the cost for the lighting itself. Number 2 item, the committee approved the exercise of eminent domain for 4 properties located on Pursley Street. The committee also approved the quitclaim deed for 0.02 acres located at 1720 Dannenberg to Mercer University for $800. The committee approved setting a new speed limit on Foster Road from Tucker Road to Zebulon Road, reducing it from 45 miles an hour to 35 miles an hour. The committee approved the temporary expansion of the use of county right-of-way for the sale of goods. Okay. Finally, the committee approved the authorizing the Macon Water Authority to spend up to $100,000 from the landfill closure / levy maintenance fund for the purpose of improving the Georgia Central Railroad grade crossing on Lower Poplar Street so as to provide heavy equipment access for the repair and maintenance of the levee. As you explained to us, Mayor, that those funds are provided by the Macon Water Authority. They're set aside for doing projects just similar to this. That completes the report of Facilities and Engineering.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. I understand there are no public comments that have been received for agenda item purposes. So we'll move on then. The only item that was on the consent agenda was tabled at pre-commission. So no action taken on that item at this point. That then takes us to the next item on our agenda, which is old business. And the first item of old business is an ordinance to amend our alcohol licensing services sections of the code. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend various sections of Chapter 4, 7, and 26 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to reflect procedural changes related to the transfer of alcohol licensing services to the Macon-Bibb County Tax Commissioner's Office and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it and the ordinance is adopted. Next is an ordinance to transfer money in the tax commissioner's office budget. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the tax commissioner's office budget by transferring $1,400 from the salaries and wages part-time line item to the contract labor contractual services line item to provide for costs associated with the use of a temporary employee and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Lucas.
is this change similar to what we did in the Superior Court Clerk's office? That basically the same
Similar,
thing.
right? Similar, right? But this is another constitutional officer, the tax commissioner, and he is moving money from salaries and wages part time to contract labor item, which I guess is a separate bucket in his budget. So again,
okay, I just wondered. There was a lot of discussion on the others. I haven't heard a whole lot of discussion on this one, but I'm for it. I'm voting
Good.
for it.
Good. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it and the ordinance is adopted. Next is an ordinance to amend the code relating to the referral of items of commission business to the Committee of the Whole. This was sponsored by Commissioner Bivens, and basically, in essence, says you can't refer, the mayor can't refer anything to the Committee of the Whole without five members voting. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend Section 2-37 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances related to the referral of items of commission business to the Committee of the Whole and to provide for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? I wanted to make a point that I thought about after. This was a 5-4 vote coming out of the Committee of the Whole. There was good conversation about it, but one additional thought that I had: the only time that the mayor pro tem has a vote other than at full commission meetings is when we meet as a Committee of the Whole. That's the only time that Mayor Pro Tem, because he does not serve, Mayor Pro Tem does not serve as a member of any standing committee other than the committee on committees. So this actually would mean that Commissioner Tillman couldn't vote, or the Mayor Pro Tem couldn't vote unless we were meeting in a Committee of the Whole. So that, along with the other points that I tried to make, I hope will carry the day. But is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify. Well, let me get a roll call vote, because I'm not going to be able to tell. I don't believe. Give me a roll call vote, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, if you will unmute, and we'll vote by districts. Commissioner Wynn, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Schlesinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Lucas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Bivens, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Shepard, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Watkins, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman, how do you vote?
Yes.
5 to 4. 5 to 4. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Item D then is an appointment to the Arbor Conservation Board. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Gregory C. Glover to the Arbor Conservation Board and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have to say that Mr. Glover is one of the most enthusiastic appointments that you have sent to us. I talked with him. He was so excited about serving. He is a retired county extension agent and was highly recommended by one of our own local ones, Royce James, and just is very, very excited to serve. And the board is already making overtures to him to get him acclimated if we approve it.
Good. Thank you very much. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is item E, which is to rename the engineering building. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners of the County of Macon-Bibb, Georgia, to name the Macon-Bibb County Engineering Building as the Robert E. Fountain Engineering Building in honor of Robert E. Fountain's contributions to his community and for other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Item F is a resolution for some street lights in the Lake Arrowhead, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of 6 street lights in Lake Arrowhead subdivision pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from the Facilities Management Budget, Services to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes.
Now, the Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, Ms. Mayor, you know, I gotta say something about this. The folks in that area say thank you for entertaining this. It is very dark and there are lots of curves in the Lake Arrowhead area. So the neighborhood association has asked for these over the years, and they are just elated that we are undertaking this, and they ask for our unanimous approval to increase the safety in that area.
Good. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
You all just showed my former house. I lived at 2016 Fairway Drive while attending J. Elworth Hall, who Commissioner Lucas' stepson was my best friend, Lil Gene. And so interesting that y'all are doing this in Lake Arrowhead, our old neighborhood, and I look forward to seeing those streetlights out
Now
there.
you can't.
Very, very good. Is there further discussion?
We call him Lil Gene, but he's actually David Lucas Jr.
Very good. Very good. Glad to have that bit of information. Is there further discussion about the resolution? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a similar resolution about a street light on Riverdale Road, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of 1 street light at 400 Riverdale Road pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from the Facilities Management Budget, Service to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes.
Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Where's Riverdale Road? I know Macon had a Riverdale Road.
Yeah.
I was familiar with Riverdale Road in Atlanta, so we have a Riverdale Road. Never knew that.
Riverdale Road is in Riverside Park, off of
Oh.
Pierce Avenue exit on the other side of the interstate, between the interstate and the river.
Okay.
I
Is
thought
it
it
for-
was the one in Ingleside. So
There is one on Ingleside.
Yeah.
there's a Riverdale Road in Ingleside close to you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Well, I thought it was Riverdale Road over in Riverside Park, but I guess I should have just left it alone. I don't know where Riverdale Road is.
It's on Ingleside.
It
Yeah,
runs
it's off of Overlook, Mr. Mayor.
right off of Overlook Avenue,
Yeah.
Overlook Drive.
I
used to live over there, so I know
I-
Riverdale's over there.
Okay, well, good. This is 400 Riverdale. You said that's Riverdale Drive? This is Riverdale Road.
Riverdale Road.
There's,
I don't know, but
there's
that's
a
where it is.
Carolina Road. It runs
That's
right.
where it is.
Riverdale Drive.
And the Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Such good
Here
information.
none, all in favor of the street light signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item H, and I may get a motion to do the next 4 items together because they are 4 separate exercises of eminent domain all along Pursley Street to facilitate this streetscape project. But I'll ask the clerk to read the first one to condemn 209 Pursley Street.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the exercise of eminent domain to acquire in fee simple the property commonly known as 209 Pursley Street, located in Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, and for other purposes.
Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Item I, similar resolution for 201 Pursley Street. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the exercise of eminent domain to acquire in fee simple the property commonly known as 201 Pursley Street, located in Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, and for other purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Third in this series is a eminent domain to acquire 183 Pursley Street. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the exercise of eminent domain to acquire in fee simple the property commonly known as 183 Pursley Street, located in Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, and for other purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? I'm glad we did these one at a time because we get to look at the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no further discussion. All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Fourth and final is 195 Pursley Street, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the exercise of eminent domain to acquire in fee simple the property commonly known as 195 Pursley Street, located in Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, and for other purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is the conveyance of 2/100ths of an acre located on Dannenberg Avenue to Mercer, the Corporation of Mercer University, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a quit claim deed for the sale of property to the Corporation of Mercer University totaling 0.02 acres located at 1720 Dannenberg Avenue for its appraised value of $800 and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is item M, which is to revise the speed limit and reduce the speed limit on Foster Road. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission amending a portion of section 28-19 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to set the maximum speed limit for Foster Road from Tucker Road to Zebulon Road at 35 miles per hour and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lucas, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had Pedestrian Safety Review Board meeting this morning, and we had, as you know, that board is made up of representation from a lot of different areas, including engineering. And what the request that came from the board is that whenever there's a request for lowering the speed, if it can come through the Pedestrian Safety Review Board, so that we make sure that engineering has a chance to do, if it's speed studies or other kinds of things, because we understand that there are a number of hazardous situations in that area that need to be dealt with. And engineering they just want to be a part of the process. So that was the discussion. They didn't want to hold it up. They're all in favor of Commissioner Jones' ordinance here, but they just wanted to make sure that every department that had anything to do with that, that they were a part of the approval process. So the only thing they're asking is before this is, we can act on it, but before you change the signs and all of that stuff, if engineering could kind of take a look at it and make sure everything is done that needs to be done. If the sponsor doesn't have any problem with that.
Let me call on Michael.
Jones.
I think Michael may have some information on this that would be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. So under state law, before we change a speed limit on a road, we have to have an engineering study done. And in this case, Nigel Floyd, our traffic engineer, emailed me and said that he had been looking at this road for some time and that he agreed that there was a need to reduce the speed out there. And so I don't know if he was the one that was at the PSRB meeting this morning or if it was someone else from engineering, but this has been cleared through engineering.
Yep.
Okay, he was not there
Okay.
this morning because so he couldn't say, but there were questions as to whether it had been cleared.
Yes, ma'am.
By everybody, so that information can be shared. We just wanted to make sure we got the biggest bang for the buck. If we were looking at an area, we wanted to make sure that, you know, it's pedestrian safety after we did whatever it is we needed to do.
Very, very good. Very good. All right. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is an ordinance to temporarily allow for the expanded use of county rights of way for the sale of goods. This is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Tillman. And I'll ask the clerk to read this by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to temporarily allow for the expanded use of county right-of-way for the sale of goods and to provide for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner
I've
Wynn.
got Commissioner Jones. I've got Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Wynn, and I think I hear Mayor Pro Tem Tillman. Commissioner Jones?
Yes, sir. I just want to, addressing you, Mr. Mayor, the CEO, chairman of the commission, in the spirit of cooperation, and just to show my friend, my Democrat friend, Mr. Al Tillman, that
We're nonpartisan. We're nonpartisan here.
I'm
We're
talking
nonpartisan here.
we're talking about on a national level. So from the other side of the aisle, let's put it that way, from the other side of the aisle, and that I'm going to vote for this, and I want him to know that.
Oh, very
Ooh.
good. All right. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir,
Commissioner
Mr. Mayor.
Wynn.
Commissioner Wynn, you gonna top that?
Well, no, actually, he stole my thunder because I was going to say I was in support of this. I understand the reasoning behind our Mayor Pro Tem wanting to have this resolution to assist people in making some money during the COVID-19. I do have a little bit of a concern about the public safety aspect of it, so I hope that won't be a problem. And I want to make sure that the people that do sell do it by the rules that we're setting out for them so that they don't get in trouble doing it. But I am in favor of this, Mayor Pro Tem.
Very good. Very good. Mayor Pro Tem, you got anything you want to add?
Yes,
Say
Mr. Mayor.
thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Y'all give people the impression like we don't really vote 95% of the time together, and I appreciate it. Thank y'all. But the whole idea behind this, and for Commissioner, is how do we continue to support entrepreneurship? Overall, I'm an advocate of entrepreneurship, primarily during COVID-19. I would even ask businesses such as Newtown, Macon, neighborhood watch associations, and whether it's the opportunity zone or what have you, to probably begin to establish locations that we can have entrepreneurs work and operate in. I think, Mr. Mayor, at some point we want to get an update on you bringing back the flea market or the farmers market back downtown Macon. Downtown, that would certainly help. Rumor has it the farmers market on Eisenhower and Commissioner Watkins district will soon close, and for many, many years, families and folks have attended that flea market. And so places like that, a location downtown would give folks that sell fruit and vegetables the opportunity to all be in one centralized location. And I'm going to ask Newtown if they'll work with their downtown organization to even look further at establishing a particular location where vendors can set up like they do up near the old Five Point in Atlanta and some streets around that particular area. Because although this is temporary, maybe this will give us an opportunity in 2021 to begin to look at more opportunities to actually have people in a generalized location that they can come and sell products and be successful, because COVID-19 is going to knock out so many businesses, and a lot of the stimulus money that's coming down that have served to help many folks, it has just not been enough. And so on a local level, just what can we do? And this is just a start of something hopefully to do to further help entrepreneurship. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Next is item O, which is a resolution to use money from the Water Authority account for landfill closure and levee maintenance to improve a grade crossing on Lower Poplar Street. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the Macon Water Authority to spend up to $175,000 from the landfill closure levee maintenance fund for the purpose of improving the Georgia Central Railroad grade crossing on Lower Poplar Street so as to provide heavy equipment access for the repair and maintenance of the levee and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval, and Committee of the Whole recommends the approval of the resolution as amended to increase it to $175,000. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution as amended signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution as amended is adopted. Next is an ordinance to authorize a supplemental budget appropriation from fund balance for the Board of Elections in this crazy election year. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize a supplemental budget appropriation from fund balance to the Macon-Bibb County Board of Election in the amount of $427,251 in order to provide for various costs related to the conduct of the 2020 general election and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. The Committee of the Whole recommends approval of the committee amendment to increase the amount to $427,251. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Wynn?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I do want to make a comment that I know we had the Board of Elections chairman here, Mike Kaplan, earlier at our earlier meeting. And I think that the reason people need to know what we're spending this extra money on, and it's going to be for additional early voting spots around Macon, maybe 3 or 4 more, and then some drop boxes for the absentee ballots and things like that. So I think that this is an important, and this is a big election, and it even would cover anything for additional costs for a runoff that may occur. So I think this money is appropriate that we approve.
Very good. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Allen?
Yes, Commissioner Allen.
Mr. Mayor, I did have a lot of concern about this earlier. I still do have concern about it. The vote on Sunday, I will be voting no, but only because of the vote on Sunday. If they've changed that, I'll be happy as a jaybird.
Very good. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Got one no, Commissioner Allen. So we'll move on. Item Q was tabled at pre-commission to give time for the attorneys to perfect that and maybe improve it. So that moves us to item R, which is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a non-federal reimbursable agreement with the FAA for improvements at Middle Georgia Regional Airport. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a non-federal reimbursable agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration in the amount of $241,188.24 to be paid from the Middle Georgia Regional Airport 1432 Runway Rehabilitation Project budget for the purpose of installing runway navigational aids and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Item S then is an ordinance to appropriate up to $50,000 to refurbish the locomotive at the front of Carroll and Creighton Park. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the Macon-Bibb County government to appropriate up to $50,000 from fund balance for the purpose of providing for the restoration and repainting of the Benny A. Scott Memorial Steam Engine located at the entrance of Carroll and Creighton Park, to authorize the hiring of a suitable contractor on a professional service basis and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Wynn, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Again, I want to make sure the public understand we're not restoring it for use. We're only restoring it so that it will look nicer as an entrance to Carroll and Creighton Park. This steam engine has been around since I was a little girl. Had my pictures made in front of it or around it many times. And I think it's a nice entrance piece to our Carroll and Creighton Park. And people still would love to see it, I think, in better condition. So I think I hope it won't cost more than $50,000. We are spending up to $50,000, but I hope this will be something that we'll keep in our community as a historic point for people to look at.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is an ordinance to amend the Parks and Beautification budget by transferring money between line items, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the Parks and Beautification budget by transferring $40,000 from the contract labor contractual service line item to the rentals, equipment, and vehicle line item to provide for the rental of street sweepers and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. Next is a resolution to adopt a 5-year short-term work program for capital improvements, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving and adopting the Macon-Bibb County 5-year short-term work program and capital improvements element update and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. That takes us to item V, which is a professional services contract in the amount of $556,000 for improvements at the Macon Coliseum for the ice dasher system, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a professional service contract with the
I think it's Athletica.
Athletica Sports Systems Incorporated in the amount of $556,900 for Macon Coliseum Ice Dasher System to be paid from the 2018 SPLOST Fund, Cultural and Public Coliseum line item, and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I had a
Commissioner
lot of,
Lucas?
yeah, I had questions about the Dashers, and I was wondering whether the hockey team was the only entity that was using it. I did get some information from, I believe it was Julie Moore during the week, and she listed a number of uses that we're making, including increasing safety, which to me was real important. And then the use during the public ice skating. There are several other uses that we're making of those dashers, in addition to those things being there for the ice hockey team. So I felt a whole lot better about that expenditure of $500,000.
Good.
Mr. Mayor, just one follow-up too, please. The ice dashers, I didn't know what they were, and I think that we probably need to let the public know what we're voting on, and that's is it what kind of, I don't know what it's made of. It's not glass, but fiberglass surrounding plexiglass around the rink, so that when a puck is hit, it doesn't get hit into the audience and that kind of thing.
Very good. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to approve phase 3 improvements to Freedom Park, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a contract between Macon-Bibb County and Warren Associates Incorporated in the amount of $509,500 for phase 3 of the Freedom Park renovation to be paid from 2018 SPLOST revenues, Parks and Recreation, Freedom Park line item, and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. The Committee of the Whole recommends the improvements to specify where the funds are coming from, the SPLOST funds are coming from. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the resolution as amended is adopted. Next is item X, which is a resolution directed to the GBI about the Macon Medical Examiner's Office. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission requesting the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and local legislative delegation to take action to ensure the continued operation of the Macon Medical Examiner's Office, authorizing the administration to send a letter regarding the same and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I think we've just done letters of support in the past. I don't know why we had to do a formal, resolution. I would have liked to have seen the corner bring a list of municipalities, and we show that we were all supporting it, such as resolutions like we've done with certain ordinance versus marijuana and so forth. I just don't know how we can supersede a area or department like this when you have your state legislators who ultimately decide on the state's budget. And so I think we support our corner, and of course if it was any one of us, we just want to know how our loved ones died, if there's some controversy behind it. And this is nothing new that the GBI has done by moving things. So I just don't know the impact. Of course, it's not going to cost us anything, but I just don't understand why we had to do this in the form of a resolution. And because it does, like one of the commissioners said earlier, it's basically recommending. We can't tell them anything to do. And I don't think this has ever come up when you're talking about inquiring with the GBI. And I stand corrected. I think I said FBI, but the GBI. Thank you.
Commissioner Lucas.
Yeah, Ms. Mayor, well, Mr. Mayor, I know I've got to address my comments to you, but I think this is one of those issues where that medical lab performs so many services for this area, and Macon is a hub, and a lot of other areas depend on that. And this is going to be if the imminent closure is going to be such an imposition on so many, not just on the solving of crimes here, but in surrounding areas as well. And other municipalities are expressing their concern over it. Over in Milledgeville, Baldwin County, they are introducing a resolution asking their legislators and others to work on trying to keep that in place here in Macon. And also over in Toomsboro, the mayor over there is asking her council to pass a resolution, and there may be others. So I think this is important enough. It does not make sense for a city like Macon, Georgia, not to have that service provided here in this community. And I think if we work hard enough and we make our own personal contacts with our legislators, if we can't get it to stay open fully, at least we could ensure that we get someone driving here to provide those services 3 days a week. And so we need to get something. We do not need to let that facility close.
And just as a follow-up, if I may, I think
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, just as a follow, I think we'll have support coming out of this commission. I think what you're gonna see, because I did make a call, I think you're gonna see them come back and ask for some type of funding from municipalities, and I would like to have seen that done right now by the corner to say what is it that we can do as a local municipality to help, and that wasn't done. But I mean, if it's unanimous support that I think the commission desires that we have, then I don't have a problem with that. I just still think it's going to come back, and ultimately they're going to come back asking for funding or see it as a directive from our municipality. And so I don't have an issue in supporting it and giving it full unanimous support. So we are all on the same page around our local region.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Again, if you want to sign this, please come by the clerk's office tomorrow and sign it. Otherwise, there was no dissenting vote. And I assume that everybody would authorize the clerk to sign their name to it without further action on your part. But if that's not the case, please contact the clerk's office. If you want to sign it yourself personally, call or come by and sign it. We added one item to our agenda tonight, and that is item Y on a resolution of support for the Macon-Bibb County Board of Elections, providing additional voting locations and early voting. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission in support of the Macon-Bibb County Board of Elections, identifying new satellite voting locations, adding new absentee ballot drop box locations, and approving early and advance voting on Sunday, October 25th, 2020 for the November 3rd, 2020 general and special election and for other purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Wynn?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am fully in favor. Well, we voted earlier to fund some of these things. I'm fully in favor of the early voting days. I don't know if it's 21 or 17. It's mentioned both times. Then we have, I'm fully in favor of additional sites for early voting and the drop boxes for absentee ballots to be dropped in. We have 17 or 21 days ahead of the election to vote. We have a Saturday vote. So we have absentee ballots you can apply for right now. Everybody in this community that's a registered voter that wants to vote can vote from anywhere in this community, in their home. Just pick up the phone and call. If you say you don't have a phone, ask a relative or a friend to let you borrow their phone to make a call to get an absentee ballot. If you need a stamp, let me know. But I just don't see that extra day, that extra Sunday vote being necessary. And for that one reason, I'm not in support of this resolution. Otherwise, I think everything that we want to do here is favorable.
Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lucas?
I would just like to ask this commission to support this resolution because it says to the community that we feel like the elections are important. And of course, we say that, but we can show it. We've already shown it by approving the funding for the additional machinery and other kinds of things. And the Board of Elections members have been working very, very hard to catch up. We in Macon-Bibb County are behind. We are way behind. As a matter of fact, some of the folks who are on the Board of Elections have gone to meetings, and the other counties are talking about all of the satellite locations that they have and all the other things that they're doing. And then our Board of Elections members, the ones that I've talked to, they say, well, you know, I feel just really, really bad about our situation, having just the one location with over 100,000 registered voters. I think the number is 105,000 registered voters. And of course, with the upcoming elections, we're going to have there's a lot of interest brewing in those elections. And I think every opportunity we need to give to citizens. And let me say in closing that I appreciate the support of the Georgia Women, the local organization that is a very progressive organization. I think all of you have received emails expressing their support for this resolution and for the new and improved Macon-Bibb Board of Elections. I don't know whether you know it or not, but Macon-Bibb is we've been sued. We are part of the statewide lawsuit claiming that there's not enough that's being done for our voters. So you may think that we're doing something, but you look around us, Houston County has had 3 satellite voting places for years and years and years. And we're over here bragging because we've got one and we had another one for half a year. We don't have anything to brag about. So voting should be made as accessible and as easy as possible. It's not about what we think about it. It's not what we can personally do. It's just that we make it accessible and open as possible to all of our citizens. And this just expresses that we support our Board of Elections in what they're doing to increase the ease of voting in Macon-Bibb County comment of this century. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Commissioner
Ray-
Allen.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, again, I will vote no. I still think it's wrong for us to be voting on Sunday. I mean, that's, we got all the time in the world to go vote. If we need some more satellite places, I am all for it. Put one over toward Miss Lucas's office if we want to at school. But voting on Sunday is wrong.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. There was an earlier request for a roll call vote.
Oh, for a roll call vote, yes, sir.
All right, got a roll call vote request. Without further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. Be sure and unmute yourself and give us a verbal vote. If you're in favor of the resolution, you'd vote yes. If you're opposed to it, you'd vote no.
We'll be voting by districts. Commissioner Wynn, how do you vote?
Only because of Sunday voting, vote no.
Commissioner Schlesinger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Lucas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones, how do you vote? Commissioner Jones? He appears to have left the meeting.
He votes yes.
Commissioner Bivens, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Shepard, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Watkins, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman, how do you vote?
Yes.
It's 5-3, Mr. Mayor.
But the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. That is the end of old business. We have several items of new business that have already come down from the legal department, attorney's office. And I want to take a point of personal privilege at this point and just say thank you to the county attorney and first assistant county attorney and all of the other assistant attorneys up there. They do a wonderful job of dealing with this volume of work, and I appreciate it. These have come down thus far, and there may be some additional ones to come down. So as always, please be sure and check the agenda that'll come out Friday afternoon. And we'll be talking about these in committee meetings beginning by Zoom next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Those items of new business that have come down thus far, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a professional services agreement with Preston Geotechnical Consultants, LLC, in the amount of $7,890 for testing of construction materials and soil at the Lake Tobosoffke Ranger Station, to be paid from the 2018 SPLOST Funds Recreation Lake Tobosoffke property line item. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item B is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a professional services agreement with Hughes, Good, O'Leary, and Ron Incorporated in the amount of $29,000 to provide master planning services for Mid-City Square projects, or for the Mid-City Square project to be paid from the 2nd Street allocation funds. I'm going to refer that to the Committee of the Whole. Item C is a resolution appointing Scarlett Farr to the Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful board. I'm going to refer that to the Economic and Community Development Committee. Item D is a resolution appointing Weston Hamilton Stroud to the Central Georgia Joint Development Authority. I'm going to refer that to the Economic and Community Development Committee. Item E is a resolution to appoint Waldron A. Hilly Sr. To the Board of Trustees of the Macon-Bibb County Community Enhancement Authority. I'm going to refer that to the Economic and Community Development Committee. Item F is a resolution item F was moved to old business, and we just got through voting on that. So that's all of the new business that's come down thus far. Again, check your agendas on Friday afternoon for all of the resolutions and ordinances that may, additional ordinances and resolutions that may come down.
Point of privilege, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Let me be sure that there are no public comments on non-agenda items that were received. Okay, so now we're at the point of personal privilege, and Commissioner Allen, got you, sir.
You know, Mr. Mayor, we've been working extremely hard on all these projects through this year. We're spending a lot of taxpayers' dollars, but I have not heard one thing about where we are on the salaries and bringing our employees up and to where they need to be on the salaries. I know we do have, because we got it from Athens Clarke County, the salary survey. I know the committee has looked at it, but nobody has said one word that I know of, hadn't said anything to me or anybody else. I'm getting calls on it, and we're still losing employees, and we're losing directors. We need to either talk to our employees or talk to our directors and let them know what's going on. We can't just keep spinning a wheel. We've got to do something, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we certainly are in the process. Don't mean to intrude on your point of personal privilege, but we're working on that and should have something very, very shortly, as it's being finalized for presentation. So you should have something very shortly, and you can tell the employees that we're working hard on it, and hope to have it and implement it by January the 1st, or effective January the 1st.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Bibbins, point of personal privilege for you, sir.
Yes, sir. I made a request to have a discussion on the board regarding a letter that I hope all the commissioners got. Just a discussion with what that letter contains. And I was hoping it could be put on an agenda or something.
This may, are you talking about the letter for the lady that wanted the taxes waived?
Yeah, that one.
I'm sure that the Chairman Watkins can, discuss this in operations and finance if he so chooses.
He said he was going to add it to his agenda, I think.
Oh, good. There you go. So Chairman Watkins will add it to operations and finance.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I would have did it last week, but I got an email that said it was going to be in the full commission. But like I said, I have no problem with discussing. I think it's something we've been needing to discuss anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other points of personal privilege? Hearing none, we've reached the end of our agenda. No further points of personal privilege. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And without objection, we are adjourned.